David Lange, Israeli cool. Israeli cool. I'm not cool enough, clearly. I'm sorry, David. My kids would laugh at me. Hi, David. Do you see him?
Yeah, he was here.
Yeah, he's there.
Unmute, David.
David Lange. Lange, Ken.
David Lange.
Do you
Hi,
hear me
David.
now?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just disconnected right before you introduced me. So I'm the CEO of Israeli Cool Israel Advocacy, a non-profit I started based on the website that I've run for 17 years. And what I want to tell you all about today is, in my experience, and I think you all know this already, but to reaffirm how important it is to reach beyond the choir. For too long, we've been preaching to the choir, this echo chamber who the MK has already mentioned. And what I try to do in everything that I do, it really drives my approach, is to get beyond the choir. It's a more proactive approach than traditional Hasbara, and it includes things like using humor, meticulous fact-checking, and very importantly, going after anti-Semites. It is about going on the offensive without being offensive. What I've learned is one can state facts proudly and loudly. You can take on terrorist supporters, you can take on anti-Semites, while at the same time you can build bridges. They're not mutually exclusive. For instance, I published a video interview with my good friend and UAE businessman Thani al-Shawari months before the normalization deal with the UAE was even announced. As I said, I proactively go after anti-Semites. The need is not going away, with anti-Semitism only increasing the further away the Holocaust is in our rear vision mirrors. While it is tempting for all of us to see anti-Semitic posts on social media and report them straight away, I have a different approach which I pioneered almost a decade ago, and it's an approach which many of you here today have since also implemented. And that's, let's use their own words against them. The idea is to expose and ridicule these Jew haters in order to show how those who pretend to be only anti-Zionist are invariably actual Jew haters, to undermine their credibility and help win over people beyond the echo chamber, to send a message to these Jew haters that there can be consequences to their actions. And very rarely, but it actually happened once in my experience, you can actually have an anti-Semite realize the error of their ways and condemn their past behavior. As such, I prefer not to censor these people. I prefer that not to censor them unless they post incitement to violence or murder, that is. But regarding what the Israeli government can do, I agree with what Shoshana Keith-Jaskol said before regarding providing us with more information and resources in order to counter all the lies that we see. But I would like to add something else, and I hope it's taken in the right spirit. I agree that there is a need for one ministry, but I think there's a tendency sometimes for the Israeli government to think they have everything on their shoulders, to try to do everything themselves, to try to replicate our own efforts. Now, I'd like you, the Israeli government, to look at the people here today and many others who aren't here today as like special forces who are already on the digital battleground. You have us, use us, empower us. And yes, that does mean funding as well. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. And